Welcome to a presentation on the effect of the experimenter's identity on coercion, pro-social disobedience, and sense of agency. This research was conducted by myself, Anne Lee, and Professor Emily Kaspar to explore the interplay between social dynamics, decision-making processes, and the sense of agency when faced with coercive orders. To set the stage, let's first look at the concept of sense of agency. It's a feeling of control over our actions and their outcomes. Previous studies show that being coerced to harm others reduces this sense of agency. This research takes it further, examining whether the social identity of the person giving orders affects individuals' decisions to obey or disobey, and how it impacts their sense of agency. The study asks, does a shared identity with the authority figure make it more likely for people to obey? And how does this influence their implicit feelings of being in control? The study involved two groups of participants, the Belgian group and the international group. This was to facilitate the social group dynamic. The experimenter, myself, whose Southeast Asian identity set up an in-group, out-group dynamic. The international group was operationalized to share a closer identity with me than the Belgian group. Participants worked in pairs, alternating roles as agent and victim. The agent received commands from the experimenter, myself, to administer painful electric shocks to the victim or refrain from doing so. Temporal binding was used to measure the agent's sense of agency based on the perceived time between pressing the key and hearing a beep sound. We are now discussing the results sections, which are thought-provoking. First, pro-social disobedience, meaning refusing to carry out harmful orders, increased participants' sense of agency, while obedience to shock reduced it. This aligns with previous findings. Secondly, on a neural level, looking at the midfrontal theta activity after hearing the auditory instructions from the experimenter to give a shock or don't give a shock, there were notable differences between the Belgian and the international group. Belgians showed a stronger reaction to commands which is perceived as coercive and immoral, meaning give a shock. Interestingly, the international group processed both give a shock and don't give a shock commands similarly, potentially reflecting the shared social identity with the experimenter. We also further discussed the two main limitations of the study and how we addressed them. To sum up, this research highlights how the relationships with authority figures shape the moral decisions and the feeling of being in control. While limitations, such as a single experimenter and a sample composition, might have made it challenging to come to conclusions, our findings still underscore the importance of social identity in modulating coercion and the sense of agency. Thank you for exploring our work. For more information or to discuss further, feel free to reach out via the contact details provided. We appreciate your time and interest.